If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have Cynthia Calvillo joining the program. She returns to action December 7th in Washington, D.C., taking on Marina Rodriguez. Cynthia, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's closing time, less than 3 weeks, 2 weeks actually to go until fight time. So I'm doing fantastic. It's been a long time.
I bet. How are you feeling as you get ready to head to the nation's capital after this long camp?
I'm stoked. I'm motivated, and I'm happy to be in the U.S. I've been training in Phuket, Thailand for most of this fight camp, and although I loved it out there, I am very happy and proud to be born and live in the USA. So I'm excited to go to our nation's capital and fight in front of my country.
How is your foot feeling? I know you really wanted to fight on that Sacramento card back in July, but how has it been feeling, and how is it feeling now?
It feels great. It's better than all injuries. As they say, when bones break, they heal up stronger. So I feel like that is true for me. Honestly, I think it was a blessing in disguise, in my opinion, because from my last fight, I had suffered a significant strike, to my leg on my shin, and although there was no fracture, it was a deep bone bruise, so I couldn't kick with it for months. And even going into my Sacramento fight, I wasn't able to fully kick with my left leg, and when I finally did, I ended up fracturing it. So I think it was just one of those things where I needed to force myself to give myself more time to heal up properly, and I had other nagging injuries that needed some healing. So I think taking that time off was necessary for me. That way I can really get into tip-top shape and really show everybody what I can do and fight to my full potential.
So you basically you got to heal up, take some extra time for yourself, and sort of recharge the batteries a little bit.
Absolutely, yes, correct.
How are the kicks going now? You were in Phuket, so I'm sure you were kicking a lot.
Yeah, no, for sure. It feels great, man. It felt really good to be able to build that conditioning again, because of course I was worried about them not being able to run or do much with my legs, and a lot of your conditioning and power come from your legs. So having to rebuild that all over again, is always tough, but it was a ton of fun to do it in Thailand, and especially going somewhere like that. People go to vacation out there. I was lucky enough to be able to train and vacay, so it was like a traincation.
Besides just getting better at your craft, what else do you take away from those trips? I've talked to fighters who have gone over there to get some work in. Of course, the training is incredible, but from a mental aspect, a lot of the people that I've talked to, they say they come home, they always feel better mentally when they head over there. Do you feel the same way? Do you always feel more free and stronger mentally when you return from a trip to Thailand?
I do. It was definitely something completely different and out of my element. I've never traveled anywhere in the world that long by myself. So having to go over there and live Thailand style, it wasn't the norm here, they didn't really have any. I mean, they had hot water, but not really. And then I wasn't staying at the top 5-star hotel either, because I took my dog with me. So he was out there with me. So I just had my own place. There was only washers, no dryers. I didn't hang out my clothes. Didn't drive a car. I had to rent a moped. It's a completely different type of lifestyle. And it just I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, but it also, once I got back, it made me feel extremely grateful to have all the things that we take it for granted. I must say, we have the richest homeless people in the world because I see other people in other world, in other countries that are working hard every day, and they don't even have half the things that half the homeless people in the street here in Sacramento have. So definitely a life-changing experience. I think everyone needs to at least do that to really appreciate what we have in this country. So definitely helped me out physically and mentally, and I feel a lot more free, and I feel really lucky and blessed to be from the U.S.
And now you get ready to get back in the cage, and you're originally supposed to fight Claudia Gadelha on this card, and she had to withdraw from an injury. So in comes Marina Rodriguez. You get a top 10 fighter either way, which is still good. So you get to just swap one top 10 fighter for another. But was a part of you sort of bummed that Claudia had to pull out of this fight?
Absolutely. I've always had my eyes set on Claudia. I think she's one of the toughest top fighters in the division. She's been there for a very long time. Has fought the best, in the division. I really it would have meant a lot for me to fight her. But, things happen. I know firsthand injuries, they're out of our control. Some hopefully later on, she's in the way of what I want to get, which is the title ultimately. I would love to fight her. I'm happy and I'm grateful that I was able to still get a top 10 opponent. Somebody who's actually, Marina Rodriguez happens to be ranked 1 above me. She's not as popular as Claudia, but I do think that she is a very dangerous fighter. She's 12-0. She's undefeated. She's on a roll, and I think she understands how important this opportunity is. And I'm expecting, one of the toughest fights ever.
Have you been impressed with what you've seen from her in the UFC? She came off the Contender Series. I know she had the draw against Randa Marcos, but she looked good again in the Aguilar fight. She looked good in the Tisha Torres fight. Have you been impressed from what you've seen from her?
Yeah, of course. It is impressive, what she's done, and having a 12-0 record. But I just feel like it's gonna be a different fighting me. She's not gonna be able to kind of bully me and use her size. I think that was one of her biggest advantages and why she looks so great. Jessica Aguilar is very small. So is Tisha Torres, and she had a 1 draw, which is against Randa Marcos, and I think that once she fights someone with a grappling and strength and height and strength as mine, it's going to be a completely different story. So although I am very, very impressed with her and her striking and how she's able to use her size, I'm excited for me and her type of style, based on what my strengths are. Which of course I'm a strong grappler, but I've been working extensively in the perfect place to train for a Thai fighter, which is in Thailand at Tiger Muay Thai. So it was awesome to switch up. And like I said, I'm so happy and I'm grateful that she was able to take the fight so fast and that it was someone with her background, because I was in the perfect place to train for that fight.
I know you've been in the UFC for a little while now, so this is nothing new for you. But at this point, since you had a fight in February, you had that nice win over Courtney Casey. You're supposed to fight in July. You couldn't fight. And now you're 2 weeks away from finally getting back in there. Are you just hankering, just itching to get back in there at this point, or are you just sort of enjoying the grind, the day by day as we get closer and closer?
Man, I'm just enjoying it. I'm working hard. One of the things I picked up in Thailand was sabai sabai, which means, just be happy, comfortable, no worries, relax, just work hard and have fun. And it helped me definitely be that way. I feel like here when I was in California, especially, everyone knows California is probably one of the most expensive, states in the nation. Very expensive. People here are just so super stressed out, so much anxiety, and I feel like people definitely feed off those vibes. And when I was in Thailand, I was able to work hard, slow it down, and live like the sabai style. So I'm just really, I'm really excited, and I'm very, very grateful, and I feel like I'm excited to show everyone everything that all the work that I've been putting in, and I know these next 2 weeks are, they're gonna come by pretty fast. I think maybe so, because I'm very excited, but man, it's been a while. It's been a long fight camp. I've been knowing about this fight for having this date for about 15 weeks. So the fact that it's about 2 weeks away, I'm ecstatic. I'm so stoked. Not angry, but I'm really excited to go in there and just put it on them.
You have this Zen-like state to you right now. Maybe I need to go to Thailand and get a little piece of that too.
I think everyone should. I'm telling you that it's life changing. I really do feel like it does a lot for you, and it helped me out a lot. It's so weird. I had I was struggling a lot while I was out here, and even with a lot of the changes that were going with my training camp and gyms and stuff and just life. And I had really bad anxiety, really, really bad anxiety. And I was just I couldn't shake it. I couldn't figure it out. And I was trying different things. I was going to therapy. I was different types, with seeing a counselor, just a sports therapist, just different things, and nothing quite really helped me out until I went to Thailand, and I stayed over there, and it just kind of forced myself and to really slow it down, and I really was able. It taught me how to really let go of a lot of things, or like not carry a lot of things. So just worry about the present time, and it's the only thing that's helped me. Although sometimes you think they tell you the way that the things you should practice or how you should be, but like nothing worked like that did. So
fair to say you're going back there as much as you can.
If I can, I would say that if you could travel out there once a year and spend at least a month to do it, just separate. I think it's a good for anybody in life, whether it be Thailand or somewhere else, just get yourself completely out of your comfort zone. If you can do it, if you're able to do it, your job permits, just leave for a month and then come back. If you can. Not everyone can do that, but if you can, do it.
Have you always been sort of an anxious person, or was it more, something that happened recently as you were kind of switching from camp to camp before you made the trip? Was that when it really like hit its peak?
I think it's a little bit of everything for sure. Like I think sometimes I've always struggled with anxiety, but sometimes I feel like training and fighting has always helped me calm me down and like keep it intact. But once starts going into work and uncertainty, I was like, if I have issues where I'm training, then it's hard. Then the anxiety pops up more, because normally when I go to the gym is where it makes it, I can deal with it. But when it's mixing up together, that's where I definitely was having a tough time with it this year and last year with all the changes that were going on with the team, and it was definitely affecting me, and so but definitely this trip helped me out a ton to be able to deal with those things, just with clarity.
Have you been to DC before? Is this your first time visiting the nation's capital?
It is my first time, and I am very excited. Hopefully all is well, being that I am Mexican American and I can prove that I'm a citizen of the I'm just with you guys, but I'm really excited. I've been able to, thankfully I'm really blessed to be able to travel and all over the world, and finally I get to fight in our nation's capital. So I'm excited about that. Who knows if President Trump will be there, but
That's a good point.
Hopefully it'd be really cool. I mean, I was really surprised when he showed up for the BMF belt.
I was there. That was the craziest event I ever covered, because just getting into the building took like a half an hour. It was unbelievable. The dogs were searching all of our bags, and I'm not talking about like a German Shepherd or like a pit bull. I'm talking about like a dog foaming from the mouth, a dog that like is jacked and like 1% body fat, a dog that would look at you and just like you feel like, petrified. Yeah, that's what Trump brings. So they had the fighters on like a lockdown for a while too, from what they were telling me as well. So maybe he watches on TV and tweets about you. How about that? Maybe that's a little bit better.
I mean, that would be great. I remember I met one of our presidents here when Obama was president, actually years ago. I was actually I used to be married. I got married when I was really young, and my ex-husband was a Marine, so he was stationed in Hawaii, and I lived on base. And one of the times Obama went to go visit, he wanted to go work out at the gym, and I happened to be at the gym, and now everybody turned in their cell phones, and he's in there walking around with like little weights with like 10 security guys, like just following him around. And I'm like, that's the serious shit. So I could only imagine. I was like, man, I was really honestly surprised that he went to go see the BMF belt. But who knows? Hopefully he will. I mean, it's going to be in his backyard.
It's easier.
Come on. That's what I'm saying. But, I guess it just depends on who his fight card is. Maybe if he knows who I am, he'll go. But I don't know.
I gotta tell you, I didn't even know you were married.
Yeah, I used to be. I'm not married anymore.
I know you're not married anymore.
That was before I started fighting. So that was in my previous life. I had like a lot of. I've gone through a lot of things in my life, but fighting was like I was married before I was fighting, and that's probably what helped me get through like the whole divorce thing. Is like when I started fighting, and just probably let me out like a lot of aggression. So
How old were you, if you don't mind me asking?
I was married from the at the age of 19 and got divorced at 22, and I started training at 23.
There you go.
Yeah, but I was with him for, I was like, I was with my high school sweetheart. I was with him for like 9 years, and then after high school, he joined the Marine Corps. We did that whole military thing, because a lot of the people in the military, they get married. Like, they're very young people, young kids, and you get married really young, and so that's where I was at. I was living the spouse, military wife life, and and I was all in on that. And yeah, then I got divorced, and then I became a professional fighter.
What a life! What a book this is going to be when your career comes to an end down the road. I can't wait. I'm going to be the first person to buy this book.
Yeah, dude, that's just a little bit of it. I cannot wait. My story is still being written, and I cannot wait to tell it later. Just I need a couple more years. I know there's more things that are in store that I don't even know about, but I'm sure it'll be fun to talk about and put in that book one day.
Well, let's talk about how this particular chapter ends on December 7th. How do you see this all going down between you and Marina Rodriguez? It's a fight that has a lot of fans excited. How do you see it all playing out?
I think for sure it's going to be one of those fights where we're going to show the different levels in this. And, I've been around for quite some time, and I haven't stopped working, even though, like I said, I've been not very active. But she is new. She's got less experience than I do. And I'm going to show her what's up and what it really means to fight somebody in the top 10. I think she fought Tisha Torres, but Tisha Torres was already, in my opinion, going down the rankings. So I'm on my way up, and I'm not planning to stop. So I feel like I'm going to get the finish in the first round and show her, just like DC said before, there's levels to this shit. So, December 7th, I'm gonna prove to the world why I belong in the top, and I should be in the top 5, not just top 10.
Is that where you hope that this win will take you into the top 5? I mean, Claudia's still going to be there, so maybe that's a fight you could still get down the road. Do you feel like with a win here, that's going to put you sort of in the upper half of the top 15, the top 7s, the top 6s, so to speak? Or where do you think a win will get you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they can't hide. If I keep winning and, keep just staying healthy and out of trouble, like, even though I feel like I said, I had to deal with the suspension, which I thought was bullshit, but for the most part, I know how hard I work and everything that I've sacrificed day in and day out. This is like fighting is my priority, and I'm gonna work hard to become the world champion. So whoever accepts the fight, whoever's in the way, whoever wants it, whoever's brave enough to take it, because I've had plenty of them, either say no, or they're not ready, or they're injured, or whatever the case is. And I'm not saying this because of Claudia, but there's other fighters there as well that just I feel like they're a little scared of fighting me, and so especially keeping me in the top 10, like in the lower rankings. I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like I should be ranked up higher, but for that reason that I am number 10, there's a lot of them in the top 5 that they understand how dangerous of a fight I would be, because I'm not an easy fight for anyone. So, but if I keep winning, they can't deny me, and hopefully Dana's on my side and will help me get those fights that I need. And because they know it. I've for every fight, every girl that supposedly they've had a hard time matching up and nobody wants to fight them, they can tell you for a fact that I've always stepped up and asked for every single fight. Like when Wei Li fought for the title, and they were like, "Hey, Wei Li, nobody wanted to fight Wei Li, so we gave Wei Li the title shot." It was bullshit. I was asking for Wei Li. There's a lot of the times where I'm asking for all the fights that nobody wants. I called out Tatiana Torres. I'm not shy about it. Anybody can get it. I have my eyes on all of them. But hopefully, I will definitely get in the top 5 and hopefully fight for the title next year. That is the plan. That is the goal.
I like it. I have to be honest. I wasn't going to bring this up, but hearing this sort of zen-like Cynthia Calvillo on the other end, I got to ask you about it, because a couple of days ago, I watched your interview with the great James Lynch, who's a good friend of mine, and Paige VanZant came up, and, I'm sure you've talked about the call-out on Instagram enough at this point, but, she has one fight left in her deal, then she's going to test the market. So if it were up to you, Would you keep her around at this point, or would you let her go off to Bellator? Like, is the UFC better with her or without her, in your opinion?
Honestly, as a fighter standpoint, like if like for me as a fighter, like if I want to show the validity of how that this organization only has the best fighters in the world, you know, and that's what we're all about. But let's be real, you know, it's not about that. It's also about, you know, whether you can sell and you can make the company money. They are owned by WME. And so I feel like because she gets a lot of attention outside of fighting, of whether, you know, she's a good fighter or not, based on her looks, and she's brought a lot of attention to the UFC for Dancing with the Stars, just more mainstream, and has made this sport look less brutal, in my opinion, which has helped the company out a ton, which is fine. Me personally, as a fighter, I wouldn't want her on the roster because that's not fair to the best, should be considered the best in the world. I trained with her personally. I know who she is. I live with her. I know what a real martial artist is, and I know that deep down inside, like she's a little brat. She likes fighting because she likes to just be, you know, get attention. She likes to get her way. She's the type of kid that used to throw tantrums when she played a board game, you know, and their mom would not hit her or do anything. She'd be like, "It's okay, honey, you know, here, have a piece of cake or some cookies or something," you know what I mean? Like, she's a brat. And she's not a real martial artist. I've trained with her plenty. I live with her. And so for me, it's disrespectful in that sense of, like, real athletes and true professional fighters who really are passionate about this. And she's not someone who's that. She's just someone who likes attention. So for me as a fighter, I wouldn't want to have her in the UFC, but I do think that because of plain and simple, sex sells.
All right.
You know, making money, so I see how it's a good thing for the UFC to keep her around. But if she's not fighting or active, then, you know, I don't see the point.
Fair enough. Well, we appreciate the time here, Cynthia. I really enjoyed this conversation. I enjoyed the Zen-like style that you've brought back with you from Thailand. I think I picked up a little bit of it myself. So hopefully, if you got some sickness healing vibes with you as well, you could send those my way. But we look forward to seeing you return to action December 7th in Washington, D.C. against Marina Rodriguez. Thank you for the time very much. Before we let you go, let the folks know where they can find and follow you on the web, social media, any shout-outs, anything else you want to get off your chest. The floor is yours.
Yes. All right. So I definitely want to give a shout out to everyone who is still stuck by my side and still believes in me, you know, and I want to take a big shout out to everyone in Thailand, all my coaches, Master Ton, Tiger Muay Thai, you know, and all of my coaches have continued to support me on my journey. And of course, to all of you guys and for all the interviews and stuff and for, you know, all the support. Really appreciate it. We couldn't, you know, do it without everyone, you know, that includes all the social media for the fans, the coaches, everyone. So I really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. And I would say another piece of advice, have some ginger tea. It'll help with the sickness. For sure.
I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to run upstairs and do that. I'm going to give my kid a hug and drink some ginger tea. Thank you, Cynthia. All the best to you on December 7th.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
A good one.
You as well. Bye.